In a sense of what I sent to Homeland Security about the sensor that detects the magnetic field that's created to produce electricity from the induction motor to be monitored so you can shut it down in some sense. Because I was saying that if you can use a sound wave or a signal warfare weapon to cause to a negative ions response out of the material of the induction motor or alternator in some sense, though, because you got to think you would probably use a signal that was a positive ion, but it had like a certain amount of protons and a certain amount of electrons, and then when you stimulated, in a sense of saying that, and if there's such a weapon, in a sense of it causes a negative ion effect to the generators or the induction motors. That means that it could, even if you open the circuit, just because of the material and the electricity is present, then it can intensify the electricity, through the magnetic response and stuff to cause an explosion, even if you open the circuit. Because when you open the circuit, you're just getting power from either the alternator or the batteries and stuff like that. So in a sense of detecting the magnetic field actually prevents them from intensifying the magnetic signature to intensify electrical current and stuff, and actually allows it to kind of like shut down and stuff like that once the magnetic field gets to a certain level. But I guess in a sense of, depending on the material that it's made out of, or the alternator or the induction motor, in a sense to say, well, you might not be able to bypass it and stuff like that. Or in a sense of, I didn't really finish, saying that, what I would do, I would sense the magnetic field, but in a sense of neutralizing the magnetic field, or in a sense of, because if you just remove the current, they can continue using the magnetic field. So in a sense of, I guess they would have to have something in a sense of that, kind of like that would have that would say, well, it turns the electromagnet into more of it makes it more of a positive ion to shut it down. You have to have something in there that does that and stuff like that. So, or in a sense that the generators have to be made to a certain degree of positive ion, but still produce electrical current without allowing it, or it might be a certain material that they need that prevents that, like you have to make the generator out of something like this, like it has to have titanium in it and still be an electromagnet and stuff like that. So, in a sense to say the sensor kind of like would just, because you would still, and then I said a pneumatic switch that pulled I guess it'll still be connected to the battery, to just remove the battery part. But I guess in a sense to me saying if they can do that, then they can blow it up without, people doing anything. But I guess the only other thing that I was saying that if it's at a certain magnetic field level, it can't be shut down. But if it's at a particular type of magnetic field level, then it can be shut down. But that means that the induction motor can only be used at a certain speed. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day.